Empower who?
Empower me. It was difficult for me because I knew nothing about kids. I knew nothing about having a baby. They gave me what to expect from when I went to my OBGYN. They gave me a book called What to Expect When You're Pregnant. And that's how I learned how to change my baby's diaper.
Really?
And that's how I learned how to bathe my baby. And so it was, the group home staff weren't very helpful. And I went to school every day. I was in ninth grade. They enrolled me in school. I dropped my baby off at daycare every day. But it just became more and more difficult being a single parent in a group home in the middle of nowhere because I don't know where I'm at. And it was still hard for me to focus because I still had my own abandonment issues and I knew nothing about being a parent. And I still had some anger and I still had some rage. So me and my caseworker at that time got into a verbal altercation, and somehow her phone ended up on the floor. I don't remember. She said that I slapped her phone out of her hand, and I don't remember that. I really don't think I did, because I would say I did if I did something, and I don't believe I did that. But anyway, it resulted in my child being taken. Like they took my daughter from me. So from there, I went back into foster care. Or no, I ran away. No, I went back into foster care because I left that group home, went back into foster care, and I ran away. And I just felt like I had no relationship with my daughter because by then, my relationship with my adoptive mom, that's who had my daughter. The relationship with my adoptive mom was dwindling. So I felt like I had no relationship with my daughter. So I ran away again, back in the streets again. And then I'm pregnant again. Pregnant again, this time at 16. Yes. And with another daughter. And I think I was in shock. Up until I was 6 months, I was in so much shock. Like, why am I pregnant again? Like, this cannot be happening. And I ended up meeting a guy, and we were together for 3 years. And I ended up pregnant with his son at 17. So, but it's such a long story.
But that's what we're here for. So I'm still finding it hard to understand how a teen pregnancy group home don't teach you the skills that you need to take care of your child. So
Some people can just be so hostile, and so angry. I feel like I had a right to be angry. I'm in the foster home. I have a baby. My baby daddy done left me. I feel like I had a right to be angry. And sometimes I saw a pattern where staff members had issues going on at home and they would bring it into work. And, you could feel that resentment that I don't want to be here, that I don't really care about you, that I don't really want to help you. So it was a lot of that.
and I definitely get it. I don't excuse it. Like I get that. That's one of the main reasons why I don't like the pandemic, because I have to work from home. Like I love that separation. So when I'm going into the office, or if I'm going out to do a training, going out to do a presentation, I'm driving, I'm letting go of whatever it is that's at home, which shouldn't be anything, because I love my home to be a sanctuary. Like, but on the flip side, when I'm coming home, I don't bring that with me either, or what have you. That way I can make sure that I'm giving both places their due attention. Um, there's a question in the comments. Did you ever consider looking to God for direction, wisdom, or help in any of your situations?
That's such a great question. Because I love God. What's wrong with you? Okay, I'm just playing. um, so my adoptive mom had us in church 7 days a week. We went to choir rehearsal. We went to 2, 3 churches on Sunday, Saturday. So I knew who God was. I hadn't developed my own personal relationship with him, but I knew who God was. When I turned 16, actually, whose house I'm at right now, I'm at their house. I met a foster parents. They were pastors and they were my receiving home, the home you go to before you place into a placement. And I met them at 16. I'm 26 now. I'm here at their house. And they're pastors, and they really helped me develop a relationship, not just a knowing of who God was, but helped me develop a relationship with him. So, once I got that relationship built, like I say, he directed me in a lot of things. He's the reason why I'm not still living that same lifestyle. I could be so much worse. Trust me.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So, all right. So now you're 17 and you're having your third kid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And is the father in? Are your fathers in any of their lives, or did you ever were you able to like receive support from them, or?
Well, I never received child support, and the individuals who care for my children never received child support. But my daughter's father is in her life, so the fathers are, I mean, depending on which one you talk about, um, they do care for their children. So and I never try to get in the way of that. Um, so yeah.
Hmm. And were these men older? Like what? Were they around your same age, or were they older?
Well, my daughter's dad, my first child, he was 17, I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of my children are by older men.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So now that you are I guess at this point in time, you're 17, and is this when you let go of the street life, or was it a little bit later? Uh-oh. Or are you there? Am I frozen? No. Or is frozen.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Okay. We'll give her a second. I just like while we wait for her to get back, like I just don't understand the people that can hold a grudge against a kid that's going through things. Um, I don't know. It baffles me because I know me personally. I get frustrated at kids a lot, at teenagers a lot. Like, um, hands down. Like I don't even hide it. Even when I was working at a group home, like I get frustrated a lot. But even the times that I would get cursed out, that does not mean that I wouldn't come in, or I probably take like an hour, or I give myself some reprieve so that I could collect myself, um, and come back and make sure that I'm still giving the kid everything that they need each time. I don't think I'd be surprised if there's a kid that said that I held a grudge against them and they didn't get the services. I didn't tell them about their rights, or I didn't do whatever because they made me mad. Like I don't understand that.
Yeah, that self-care component is probably the one thing that can help protect anybody who's helping a kiddo out from compassion fatigue, from just getting caught up in it. Um, because the fact of the matter is, when we're engaged in um, really, helping these kids get out of their situations, it's very easy to just get caught up in it. This is so much bigger than us. And unfortunately, when I think back of my experiences growing up and comparing it to today, it's vastly better. But I also think back when I was a teenager, what kind of how I was kind of a jerk, and that makes space to offer some grace.
Yeah, and I'm looking. Yeah, I mean, you can't, Wendy. You can get fatigued, but I think that your job should understand there's that chance, and that's why they should offer sufficient time off or those mental health breaks. So because you're not at your best, especially if you know that you're coming in upset, and you don't want to bring that into a kid who was obviously going through trauma or what have you. And I know I appreciate Mac for that, because they understand like you need to have your own personal boundaries, your own personal mental health days or what have you.
Yeah, opportunities for stuff like respite care. I do know that, like with Georgia Families 360, one of the things they do talk about is kind of like one of the benefits is that for foster parents, we do offer that benefit that if they find themselves in need of that, we can help arrange that.
Yeah,
Because sometimes that's all it needs is all for that moment is just a time to just breathe, to take a break.
mm-hmm. And then I'm still astounded. Like, I just don't get how, as like like I said, I understand the task. Like I've been on different task force for CSEC. I'm and I know that it happens. It just still baffles me how it happens that somebody could force somebody into pretty much slavery, and then let alone force a child to do it. Like, you shouldn't be forcing anybody at all or whatever. But
Yeah, it baffles me, but I mean, it's just like the cycle of abuse in for children and for spouses that you just fall into that, and just become cyclical, and you can't really come up for air almost.
mm-hmm.
It's almost like you have to be deprogrammed, and
Yeah,
that's why it's so important to have these kind of services that can whisk away victims to safe houses and stuff like that. Is Miss Sanders coming back in?
I'm
yes.
Hey,
so sorry. Like, you're not even gonna believe what happened.
What happened? I'm
My
curious.
phone died. I was hooked up on my hotspot instead of regular Wi-Fi, and my phone died. I'm like, where's my phone? I'm on.
I gotta figure it was something. It was just talking about like how we how can people hold a grudge against a kid, especially when it's your job to work with kids. That's gonna be a little bit difficult. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah. So what? Just want to take a step back just a little bit. What were some of those services that helped you, or that you would recommend for kids to get out of, to be able to get out of that lifestyle? What were those services that help, that'll come pick you up and things like that?
It's
For those.
called Out of Darkness.
ooh, yeah.
Out of Darkness is, oh my God, like, oh my God. Out of Darkness was a blessing. Like, they come pick you up wherever you are located. And, sometimes you're coming from a hotel lifestyle, living in a hotel for months. And then they take you back to this safe house, and it's like you're living in a mansion. You got your own comfortable bed, nice, big, nice tub. And Out of Darkness helped me. It was another organization, I want to say. think of it on the top of my
It'll come to you.
Partnership Against Domestic Violence.
Mhm.
Oh, I love Pat V.
Yeah.
They helped me. They really did.
I'm curious because I was strolling, I was cyber stalking you on your Facebook page, and I see that you do work or you advocate on the behalf of those that get trafficked as well, or those that are involved in CSEC. Um, how is that work coming? Like what type of trainings do you do currently for those young people?
Well, the best training is personal experience. Let me say that. Um, but right now, currently, I am studying the effects of sexual trauma. And I'm actually writing my own 21-day journal for individuals who want to heal from sexual trauma. So that's where I'm at currently. And I also have a nonprofit. It's called Transform Your Trauma Inc. For individuals who have dealt with traumatic experiences, sex trafficking survivors, foster care kids, PTSD, whatever falls under that category. Um, I will really like a safe house. I'm putting together a business plan to be able to have a safe house for women who are coming from sex trafficking.
That is amazing and needed. Uh,
Oh, one more thing also as well. I'm sorry, I did not mean to cut you off. And that's
no, no, you do you. They're not here to hear me speak.
So what I noticed about myself, even though I have 5 kids and I was sexually provocative at a young age, I knew nothing about my anatomy as a woman, and I knew nothing about sexual education. So I've made it my duty to create a curriculum for teens, adults, for sexual education. So in January, I will be holding virtual classes discussing sexual education.
You know what? We'll talk after this because I may use you for a webinar so that we could do some real talk with
Okay.
so,
Real talk,
yeah, real talk. Like I don't
not the
want
textbook stuff.
I want all right, all right. So except you said that your baby's fathers weren't involved except for one. What wasn't involved, wasn't providing support, and so and I assume this leads you into 18. What is what is D-Day like? Like you're transitioning from care, or what is that like as you transition from care and you have three children?
Well, at that time, I only had custody of one child
Mhm.
when I turned 18. So, but I had custody of one child, had just given birth to one child, and I was 8. So I aged out in July, and I gave birth in August. So I went through the worst postpartum depression I ever experienced, on top of the depression from losing my other 2 kids. So here I have a new baby, afraid that I'm going to fail again, and actually coming into I laugh when I think about this sometimes, because when I turned 18, I went into this deep state from like I realized like you could die, like you're not invincible. Like when I had postpartum, it was like it hit me like you're not invincible, you could die. And so I just went into this deep, dark, depressive state, and I was just like, who's gonna care for my kids when I leave this earth, you know? So for a whole year, I want to say, or probably 2, I was in a dark, depressive state. And 2021, well, let me not skip ahead just yet.
No, so just for clarity, because I had to ask the question, and luckily I had a coworker that was willing to explain it to me, because I didn't necessarily understand what postpartum was, or was it a real thing, or was it just something that people said just to as as a catch-all thing. So what is postpartum for either adults that don't know, or for kids that are tuning in that may be getting ready to have a baby? What what should they know about it? Like, what
Well,
is it? And what
postpartum depression is for parents who are new parents, or I wouldn't say new parents, or parents to new children. Okay. And sometimes you can become fearful that you may fail as a parent, you know, a lot of different things. Postpartum is, yeah, basically for new parents. And you know, sometimes you can get into a depressive state, and it's important to seek help. Let me say that it's important to seek help, because sometimes when you're depressed, you need to make sure that you're being a healthy parent to your child.
And how do you know, like, how do you know that you're in postpartum?
Well, for me, I'm so sorry. Um, for me, it was because I cried for long periods of time. And then when I realized that I was having suicidal thoughts, and I'm a new parent, I realized, okay, this isn't this isn't just depression. Like, this
Mhm.
could be something more serious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, all right. So you say fast forward, because you was in this depressive state. Uh, who who was able to? I have so many questions. Who was able to help you get out of that, or how did you recover from that?
Yeah, what was the process like?
Um, no one helped me. No one. I'm gonna tell you what it was. I was homeless. I ended up being like homeless. Sent my son to be with his dad, and I was like sleeping at the airport. And I ended up getting in touch with my biological mom, and I actually got to meet her. So I met my biological mom, and she's living in a room and house, and she offered to let me stay with her. So I slept on the floor in her room and house, in her room, and it was just very up close and personal. After being in foster care my entire life, not knowing this woman, and so I saw a lot of attributes in her that in her 50s I didn't want. I saw myself, because out of all my mom's children, I look just like her. And I saw myself, and I realized I didn't want to end up like that, and I didn't want my kids to see me like that. So Anthony, like, I just got this crazy idea, and I was like, you know what? Let me go act, since I'm an actress. And I started from my mom's couch. I started doing acting gigs. I started being an extra on TV shows.
What?
Yeah, I auditioned for American Idol. I've auditioned for the X Factor. I've auditioned for Showtime at the Apollo. I've been on Greenleaf about 3 times. I'm not gonna go down the list, but
Do you have your IMDb page yet?
you know, my resume is legit.
Mhm.
Legit. But uh it helped. It did something to my self-esteem. It did something to my confidence, because I was homeless. Like,
Mhm.
homeless. Like, I remember going through the American Idol line, pushing my bags as the line went up, you know? And so I remember getting dressed in airport stations to go to extra gigs and stuff like that. And one day I'm gonna tell you what it was. One day I got booked for a principal role for Saints and Sinners, and I actually met Vanessa Bell Calloway, the young woman from Coming to America, the girlfriend.
Okay.
I met her, and she's the executive producer of the show. And so she called me Ori. If anybody's wondering where I got my nickname from, she called me Ori, and it stuck with me. And that day I felt special. Like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I felt like I was somebody that day. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
And
it's so important.
yeah, it was,
Available. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun times doing those extra shows. Nobody knew I was homeless. Nobody knew.
Wow. And gosh, so transition out, they you didn't have IOP, independent living program services, or they didn't try to direct you to TLP services or
Well,
college or anything like that?
Anthony, I was like the black sheep. So by the time it got time for me to I signed myself back into custody actually.
Mm-hmm.
And my case manager at that time, me and her, I didn't know we had an issue, but we had an issue. And I don't know what she told the person who was over her, but they ended up contacting me and telling me I had to find somewhere to go. Like I had to leave the group home and that I was out of foster care. So I went into labor and they actually left me at the hospital. So I was homeless with my newborn son.
No way.
Mm.
No way. That did not happen.
Yeah, in the house where I'm at now, my foster parents let me come back with my baby. Yep.
Wait, they signed you out of care, which shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Right.
They signed you out of care while you was at the hospital giving birth, not knowing if you had any place to go afterwards.
Yeah, Anthony.
That's some BS. I
And then I had to find my own way back to
doing
the
that
group home
crap.
to get my stuff.
Say it again.
Then I had to find my way back to the group home to get my stuff.
Like people should be immediately fired for doing that stuff. Like that.
But can I say one more thing? And I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but but when I turned 20 and my adoptive mom went down to the defects office to do something for my daughter, and they said, oh, she's still in our system. Anthony, I had been homeless and I was still in you guys in the foster care system.
I don't know. That makes me like physically angry. Like
Yeah.
Some people shouldn't do this work. Like that is horrible. What supervisor signs off on that without saying no, you're fired. We can't have you doing this. Like that. Wait, I need a second. Like I need a second.
And at that point, and it was no reality. He's talking about who was the case manager. Y'all are so funny. At that time, I was just so tired. I couldn't fight back. I was just like, I have a baby now. I have to toughen up. Like I couldn't fight back.
And for the I forget that a lot of everybody else can't see the comments that we see. Somebody said, "Who was the case manager?" I'll snitch. Like I really high key want to know who that case manager and who that supervisor was, as well as which county did you come into care?
Fulton. It was Fulton.
You definitely had an attorney. So who was your attorney? Who was your CASA? Like
Yeah.
Nobody on your case plan didn't ask where was this kid? Like
everybody was like, kick us to the curb. I was just playing. I don't know what they told me to go. I was just like,
what it was. No, but that like you're just playing, but that's literally what it was. Like if God forbid, like well, not God, but if I had a child and they got pregnant, I just left them at the hospital. They'd be coming knocking on my door talking about you just neglected.
Child abandonment.
Yeah, like, oh, we might have to talk. Like, I want to make sure these people don't do this to other kids. Like, that is horrible.
Honey,
So
if I had a lawyer, I probably would have sued. But
yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking what, 2012? It's 8 years ago. Wow.
But they could have gone on and been somebody else's case manager, or they could have started their own organization, and now they're I don't know.
Don't tell me that. Do not tell me that.
That's one of the reasons why we started doing the podcast or whatever, so that people know that this crap happens or whatever. But it should not happen. Like, that is horrible.
I can say it was a really horrible experience for me being homeless with a baby. But my foster parents softened the blow a lot. They softened the blow a lot. So
yeah, and somebody said that they're trying to convince their 18-year-old to turn herself in for help, and she refuses. So when they're 18, they automatically are signed back into care. They have to sign themselves out of care. They can still receive services. One of the things that I suggest is having them attend some of our meetings where they're able to hear from young people. Have them listen to the podcast or our webinars. Have them attend the IOP meeting so that they can continue to try and just receive service. You can't
show her some bad the bad stories. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Show her the ones that didn't end up okay. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to give people the shock factor. Like, you know, when you go to church and they say, hey, you're going to hell if you do this. Sometimes you have to do the shock factor. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I don't know. So, all right, Woosai. What happened to your so I assume you were the youngest of 8 siblings.
Right? No, I wasn't the youngest. I was probably like 3rd or 4th in line.
Mm-hmm. So what happened to your siblings?
The younger ones?
All of them. Since you said all of them came into care, right?
Actually, one of my brothers, I just actually met him a year and a half ago, and he lived his entire life in Ghana. So yeah, we were split up, and his dad was from Ghana, and he took him to Ghana. So he just got back to America. There are my younger siblings, other than him, I haven't met. So actually, technically, I am the youngest one now. But my youngest siblings, the last time I seen my sister, because I have a younger sister, would be nice to meet her, so I want to be the youngest somewhere. But I remember seeing her when I was 2 years old. So that was the last time I saw her. And yeah.
I hate sibling separation, but I'm still, my mind is still on the fact that they quote unquote signed you out of care while you was giving birth at a hospital. I don't know. I won't be over there until, like, we're gonna talk after this. So I want to know who this person is, so I know that I'm not referring anybody to their services. Like, just in case they have their own practice, I want to make sure that I'm not referring people to their services.
You know,
like,
I may be bad with names, but I don't forget people's faces at all. And you know, one day I've been trying to petition to open my adoption records and just all that stuff. I want to see all of it. I'm sure my file is huge. So I'll just say I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice.
All right. So you all right. So you going through postpartum depression, and you're fighting off being homeless, and you're making your way down American Idol. You're getting roles and casted. Like, where at what age is this? Like, what age is this? Like, where you're getting these roles and stuff like that?
I started that around 1920.
Okay.
Yep, 1920.
and so what is your 20s? What does that age look like?
Still trying to stabilize myself. It was really difficult getting stable after I left foster care. Because I felt like I was always scrounging to try to survive. And on top of that, on the outside, I was smiling, but I was still depressed that I didn't have my kids. So again, I saw myself, I ended up back at my mom's house. And this time it was like my family, a lot of my family deals with a lot of mental illness. And at that time, I felt really rejected by my family, and I saw myself going back down that rabbit hole, saw myself getting back depressed. So I actually checked myself into a mental hospital. And at this time, I'm like, this is it's either I get away and get myself together, separate myself and get myself together, or I'm going to end up just like them and I'm going to kill myself, or I'm going to hurt somebody, or I'm going to hurt myself. So I made a decision that day. Matter of fact, yep, 21, 22 is when I decided transform your trauma. And when I went to the mental hospital, it was a doctor there, and he was older, and I had told him about the diagnosis from when I was in a lockdown treatment facility and all that stuff. And I was just telling him about some of the stuff that I had went through and the stuff that I had been going through. And he ended up diagnosing me with CPTSD, complex PTSD. And I'm like, I've never served in the military. How is this possible to have PTSD? Like, and so I had, he gave me some information about it and things like that, but it took some time for me to sit alone with myself, and I realized, like, I have really been through some very traumatic experiences. Like, it's a wonder that I'm still put together up here. You know what I'm saying? So I really had to make a conscious decision within myself. One, I had to recognize that, hey, you have PTSD. That's just what it is. It is what it is. Two, your diagnosis doesn't make you a victim. It doesn't make you a bad person, you know. And three, I realized, well, how can I heal myself so that I could be a healthy role model for not only other foster youth who are coming behind me, but for my children as well, you know? So, yeah.
We have a question that says, did a desire for more education ever come to mind? I see you reading it.
Poor nutrition and lack of proper vitamins, amino acids play a huge role. Yeah, I definitely. Oh my God, eating McDonald's every day because all you can afford is $1 cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? The stress. I'm trying to get some bus fare. I'm sorry. I don't know if nobody else been through this stuff, but yeah, it was, yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so did you want more education, like for yourself?
I did. I actually went to school when I was about 21. I went online for psychology. And even then I was in and out of shelters. Like, I was actually going to school in a shelter. And it was just a lot on me. So I ended up dropping out. And then from there, I went to school for business sentiments. So that is my last school that I attended. I was going for business sentiments. And actually now I'm enrolled in school to get my real estate license. So I'm studying to take my real estate exam.
That is dope.
Yep.
I like it. I like it. Huh. I don't know.
But I
Sorry, I'm
also, I'm
still,
sorry. I
I'm
want to go
still.
back to Wendy's question. I
Uh-huh.
also sell now because I've realized my lack of proper vitamins and nutrients and stuff, because that wasn't what I was taught in foster care. We had a menu on the fridge where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I'm just being honest, but nobody taught me how to properly, the proper nutrition that I needed. So now that I'm older now, I sell health and wellness products. And I'm just realizing the importance of taking care of your body, and
Mhm.
not just your physical, but your mental as well, because your mental ties in. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and that is something that your foster home, your group homes, your shelters, place, or I don't know about shelters, but if they have the capacity, that's something that they're supposed to teach you how to take care of yourself, teach you about sexual education and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, people on Facebook, there's like, my God, like they can't believe that happened. There is like a probably a 10-second delay between what we say and what people see on Facebook. So I'm responding to that as well. All right. So as we come up, I think we're kind of close to the end. I want to, so you are turning 20, 21, or 20, 22, 23 at this point in time, like, and you're deciding, like, you had checked yourself into the mental health for help, and you've been diagnosed with PTSD. uh, where are you going from there? Like, what happened? Like, how did the doctors help you? um, what are you doing?
They gave me information about my diagnosis, but I'm not gonna say they weren't much help. They did what they could in the time that they were supposed to mandated to hold me, which was 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, want to know what my weak spot is? My weak spot is looking for love in the wrong places. So I'm asleep during a group meeting, and I open my eyes, and it's a guy sitting next to me, and he's very handsome. And I'm talking about in the mental facility. Now it's a rehab place too, so he's in there because he's a alcoholic. He has alcohol, but guys, I'm just gonna be honest. You're asleep, dead sleep. Wake up, like, whoa. He was so handsome. I'm not gonna. My son's dad is really handsome, and so but I didn't realize the depth of his alcoholism, and so we ended up leaving the facility together, and 2 months, 3 months later, I'm pregnant.
Mhm.
So that's where my last baby came from, if you're wondering.
Wait, so you say you wake up and he was just over you?
No, he was sitting like we were having like a group,
In class.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And I think he did it on purpose, though, you know. So when I
And
opened my eyes, like right there, and he used to we couldn't wear our regular clothes in there. We had to wear like the smocks and stuff. And he would like bring me like shower shoes and stuff like that, and come sit and eat lunch with me. Oh, I can't stand him. Oh my god.
y'all in this puppy love, like, I don't know. That'll be another podcast. I'll bring on like two or three people to talk about
HateMyBabyDaddy.com.
the relationship. We're saying.
I HateMyBabyDaddy.com.
Oh.
I was just playing.
So after you leave there, like, where is your life now? Like, where is it going? Because I think now we're coming up on.
So now I'm just slapping my forehead like, you stupid, stupid girl. Why are you pregnant again? And this time, this time is after I've started to write the book, after I've came out with the nonprofit. I'm like, you're still making the same dumb decisions. So I got pregnant with him, and his dad was still addicted to alcohol. And I was still homeless. I'm like, I'm pregnant and I'm homeless. So he didn't have a job. He had no way to take care of me. And my thought was, I have to get some help. So I actually linked with the agency who helped me get an apartment. And from there, I actually got my very first apartment. And it was kind of difficult for me because nobody knew. From the outside looking in, it looked like I had it together a little bit. But I was still struggling a lot. And I was struggling transitioning from the street life to living a regular life. And even though I had kids, even though I had went to therapy, even though I was still struggling because I still had that mindset. So it wasn't until I gave birth. I had given birth 4 times, Anthony, and I can just say that within this time that I gave birth, it was my first cesarean section. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
My first cesarean section, and we almost passed away. And when I came to, it was like, you have a purpose, your kids have a purpose, and it's either you're going to give up and just be defeated, or you're going to get up and do something. So I started writing the book, finished writing my book, and lo and behold, I'm getting evicted. Stuff outside. And I ended up having to sleep outside of a women and children. We got evicted that Friday, and I ended up having to sleep outside the women and children shelter for 2 days that weekend. Yeah.
I was laughing at the comment somebody said, I learned early in life, do not procreate.
I was finna laugh too.
Yeah.
Tell them, girl. Tell them.
Go Mr. T on that. I pity the fool.
Honey, because I'm now, honey, this isn't even funny, but like now I have no relationship with his dad. Hey. I have no relationship with his dad because he actually threatened our lives. So,
I'm sorry.
you know, you really do have to be careful who you're laying up and having kids with, because it feels good for the moment. Somebody hugging you, telling you they love you, telling you you're pretty, telling you they want to take care of you. It feels good for the moment, but you gotta think of longevity.
And so, do you feel, because earlier you said that you were still out there looking for love, and so have you found it, and how do we, and this is probably a topic for another podcast specifically on this topic, how do we let young people know how to find love, or do you not know that answer yet?
I don't even know. I'm gonna tell you that because I always mess up when it comes to love. I'm gonna tell you, I'm the biggest fool when it comes to love. But I can say right now, I'm at a point where I really, like, I felt like I was desperate in the past. Like I had this desperate way, like, oh, please love me, please, please, please love me. And now I really care enough about myself to say that if you're not giving me the proper love, the proper attention, now it took experience for me to recognize the red flags and things that I will accept and things that I won't accept. And now I'm really learning me, because I have 3-4 years before I'm 30. And I'm realizing that I still probably need to learn me before I get into a full-fledged relationship with someone else, you know, because after a while, a mistake happens 1 or 2 times. After a while, it's a decision and it's a choice that you're making. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, I need to focus on myself.
There's
And
wisdom in that. Yeah.
anyone else, like any young children out there that's looking for love, I would suggest loving yourself first. Love it on yourself. So that looks like putting on a face mask, put some lotion on your feet if they're a little hard, a little rough, you know. Paint your toes, go on a jog, just take care of yourself. Find new things that you like to do, and yeah.
And how do let me make sure I write down this other question. But how do adults teach a young kid how to love themselves first without sounding like we're preaching to them?
Just find some fun activities like um, affirmations. Find them a mirror, have them repeat affirmations to themselves, saying, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am. Um, yeah. If I think of something else, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna come back because I'm definitely gonna we're gonna be working together. So,
Nice.
do you think that somebody teaching you about condoms and having sex said, "Hey"?
You say what?
Do you think somebody teaching you about condoms and about sex ed or and things like that would that have helped you as well?
Oh, it would have helped me. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
He said it helps him.
We done took over the show. Out. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Okay,
Well, about sex ed.
like, yeah, it's around sex ed. Is it better like would somebody helping to teach you about condoms or like the hard opposite teaching you about abstinence or what have you? Like what would have helped you to kind of curb that appeal, that sex appeal?
It would have helped me a lot if I actually had someone who I could relate to, because I did actually have a sex ed teacher in one of those grades one time. And I remember it was a really quick class, and all we did was look at pictures of STDs in the textbook. And
I remember that class.
yeah, and that was it. It was so boring, it was so lame. We just all made little jokes like he sex ed, he. And but now that I'm actually creating my curriculum and I'm doing my own research and things like that, it's a lot of things, male and female, that is important to know as a child that we need to be teaching our kids about their anatomy. Like as a woman, hold your ears if you don't want to hear, the menstrual cycle. Some foster children are having menstrual cycles and don't know how to put on a tampon or a pad. You know what I'm saying? And that not knowing that once your cycle comes on, you can get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And did somebody teach you how what to do when you had your cycle?
Oh no. What's so funny? I was around a lot of women because I was in church. I was around a lot of women. Anthony, I was at church when it happened to me, and I went in the bathroom and I was like, what is going on? I thought I was tripping. And I actually told my mom, and she grabbed my godmother, and she gave me a pad. I don't know how I knew how to put it on. Nobody even showed me or went in the bathroom with me. So don't ask me how I knew. I just put it on, and that was it. But I was happy. I wore it like a badge of honor. Nobody knew what was going on down there. But I was like, I'm a grown woman. You can't tell me nothing.
I don't know, but my thought is that's something that's gonna happen to young ladies, and I figure that at the bare minimum, like you're teaching the young ladies what's gonna happen when that happens, or what to do, or what have you. Like at the bare minimum, especially if you work in a group home full of young ladies or whatever. So that's just my thought.
But you know what? When I stayed in the group home and we had women or females who didn't know how to have proper hygiene and things like that, honestly, it was like they would hold group meetings and yell at everybody.
Mhm.
Like, hey, who left that button in here? Who left that in here? Y'all dirty, you nasty, clean up. You know, it was never like a real sit down woman to little girl and say, here, this is how you properly wipe yourself. This is how you take a bath or a shower, or you know what I'm saying? It was always just like, you did this, you're dirty, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Like sometimes I think that I'm doing too much when I do the basic like foster care 101 or something, and I just feel like I'm not supposed to be teaching this, but I see that like sometimes you just have to take it to the basics and let the foster parents know, hey, you need to be teaching these things. This is what you are a parent. You just have foster in front of it. Like you need to be teaching these, or find somebody that can do it, or what have you. And so it's almost the same as if a kid comes into your house and you ground them, or you put them on punishment because they didn't make up the bed. Do you know if they know how to make up a bed? Have you sat down with them and taught them how to wash
Exactly.
for you? Just go ahead and just take away everything, put them on punishment, drop their level or whatever. Like I don't know. It frustrates me, but I understand that people have to know, take it back to the basics with some people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So for for all right, so you're author, you're a mother, um, and we're definitely gonna have you back, especially as we talk about. I'm gonna do a podcast that said or something like that. But what is it like? Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with, adults or young people or both?
Well, for the adults, I just want to say if you become a foster parent or you decide to adopt a child, please make sure that your heart is in it. Like, and when your heart is in something, no matter how hard or how difficult it is, you're going to keep pushing. So that means you're going to keep continuing to care for that child. You're not just going to throw them away like a piece of garbage, okay? Um, so that's what I would like for you adults to do, to make sure that your heart is in it. And if you don't know something, just ask or find resources that will provide you with the proper training, because sometimes we don't know everything, and that is perfectly fine. And for the children who watch today's show, I just want to say that you're not alone. I have definitely been in your shoes before, and this is not the end of your story. You can rewrite your story. You can rewrite a what's the word I'm looking for, Anthony? You can rewrite
Biography? All
your,
right, no.
I don't know,
Book of
your,
life? I don't know.
Your autobiography, your
yeah,
New York bestseller.
yes. You know, Joseph has my back. You can rewrite your story. You don't have to just sit there and think that this is just it. Rewrite your destiny. Jessica
There you
Melford, you
go.
are the winner. Yeah, you can rewrite your story. It's not the end. It's not end. Don't give up and just keep pushing. Find someone that you can trust, and someone that you can talk to. Don't just be sitting there holding it in.
Mhm. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you for coming up here and making my blood, because I'm gonna be stewing over this, and
Thank you.
actually that's gonna be one of my quick learning lessons too as I edit it. Like, but thank you. We really appreciate it, and in the chat you see people are really appreciating your story, and on Facebook they're appreciating it. Like, we really appreciate you sharing. And I definitely look forward to working and using some of your content any way that we can.
Yeah,
Um, and
definitely.
I'll probably be harassing you for the names of of that person. Like because as somebody mentioned that there is a turnover. Yes, there's a turnover, but sometimes they turn over to start their own organizations, and I want to make sure that I'm not sending anybody their way. Like that is horrible.
Yeah.
But
I told you I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice. They better watch out.
Oh yeah. send it to Jessica so she can snitch. Look,
I got your email, Jess.
Yeah, everybody else, we hope that you have a safe and happy holiday. Be on the lookout for my emails. I'm going to be sending out some stuff for youth groups. We're starting task force, as well as we're going to be doing some last minute Christmas giveaways, and then in the new year we're going to be having some fun and doing some things. So we really appreciate you all for joining. 2020 is almost over. Countdown. Have a great day.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.